I really want people who listen to the podcast to subscribe to the Grapevine. The only way to contribute to the Grapevine to this podcast is to subscribe. It's super cheap, and the magazine is wonderful.
I love the stories in it. They are just like a little boost throughout the day. And then I usually take it to the jail with me, and I like to share it in that way.
Like, I like getting my print copy because then I get to read it and then I get to share it with other people.
I've heard it through the grapevine. Welcome. It's the AA Grapevine half-hour variety hour, featuring the collected voices of Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm Don, an alcoholic in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Hey, Don. Hey, everybody. I'm Sam, an alcoholic in Palm Springs, California.
Hiya, Sam.
Hi, Mr. Don. What's going on?
I was thinking about my home group that's a big book study. I've been going to the Way Out group since 1996, 2 years after I got sober.
In the year of our Lord, 1996.
Yeah. And I grew to love it because they were so serious about it all the time. And they were like, study it. They move real slow through it.
Remember, it used to be my home group, too.
Oh, that's right.
Folks, I used to travel internationally for work when I was in this home group, and I could be gone for 3 weeks and come back and they hadn't even turned the page.
That's right. We don't turn the page unless everybody quits talking about it. As soon as everybody quits talking, then we move to the next line. But what I've been doing ever since the Plain Language Big Book came out is coordinating it and marking the equivalent paragraph. And we found it very useful. It helps to understand what they're saying. It's another view. That's what we're doing, is trying to analyze what's being said, what's the truth of it here.
Yeah, and it's language that's not almost 100 years old.
Yeah, right.
So, including references from almost 100 years ago.
Right?
Well,
almost, yeah. Is it 80?
80.
How many?
Don't put us in that situation.
No, let's not do that. And it's like, so like Shakespeare, when Shakespeare was written, that language that's in there, everybody could understand it.
You need someone who understands it to take you through it.
So
thank you, high school English teachers.
High school English, and thank you, Plain Language Big Book, for helping us understand the Big Book, at least to update the language into contemporary language.
We've been asking folks to send in something to the Ask It basket, and we got one.
All right.
The subject is question about the Plain Language Big Book. This is from Sam M., no relation, in Summerville, South Carolina. Subject is question about the Plain Language Big Book. Dear Don, Sam, and Alice. He goes on to say some nice things about the podcast, and then...
Thank you.
After working the 12 steps, my sponsor and I have continued reading AA literature together. In episode 20 and 21 of season 7, there was some discussion about the Plain Language Big Book. Since its release, I've heard some mixed reactions, particularly from old-timers, and a few mentions of it being used in prisons and jails, but not much detail beyond that. I was hoping you might be able to share more about how this new tool is being used successfully to carry the message of Alcoholics Anonymous to those who are still suffering. I'm especially interested in any real-world examples or experiences you've heard about. Gratefully, Sam M., Summerville, South Carolina. Friday date, May 1st, 2023. Sam, thank you so much for sending this in.
Well, what we decided to do was get some people who have some experience with this on today's show.
We got folks who are going to be sharing their experiences and thoughts about the Plain Language Big Book, and two of those folks are with us right now. Today's guests are Eric in Saratoga, California, and Melody in Stockton, California. But first,
the news!
Did you know there are other podcasts created by AA? I mean, this is the only one, right?
Oh, no, there's more, Sam.
Oh, okay. Well, there's Our Primary Purpose podcast by the General Service Office and Grapevine's weekly open AA meeting podcast.
Our Primary Purpose is the official podcast from the General Service Office, GSO, of Alcoholics Anonymous for the U.S. and Canada. Through interviews with GSO staff and voices from AA history and fellowship today, they explore how GSO supports AA to carry the message of recovery to those who need it most, which is our primary purpose. Search for Our Primary Purpose in your favorite podcast app or visit aa.org/GSO-podcast.
AA Grapevine also has a recorded online speaker meeting every Wednesday at noon Eastern you can join. The meeting has its own new podcast, Grapevine Weekly Open AA Meeting, available wherever you get podcasts. Or listen in your browser and get information about joining the meeting at aagrapevine.org/podcasts.
And then, of course, Grapevine has the half-hour variety hour.
What's that?
We're going to have some more variety here in a minute. Gratitude is a collection of powerful stories about being thankful. With warmth and humor, the stories written by AA members illustrate the many ways the program of recovery can improve one's perspective to help enjoy each day to the fullest.
The 136-page book includes chapters on spirituality, fellowship, family, service, getting through tough times, and more. All stories were previously published in the Grapevine, the International Journal of Alcoholics Anonymous. It's a great book to start the day and also makes a wonderful gift. Visit aagrapevine.org/store.
Everybody, I'm Eric L. I'm an alcoholic. I live in Saratoga, California, which is just south of San Jose, California. My home group is called Live and Let Live. We meet Monday nights in San Jose. It is an LGBTQIAA2S plus meeting. My sobriety date is September 23rd, 2009. So 16 years and change sober.
Great, Eric. Thanks for being here.
My name's Melody, and I am an alcoholic in Stockton, California. My home group is the Purging Fellowship Group. It has meetings every day. We have Zoom and in person. And my sponsor's name is Sandy. My sobriety date is June the 24th, 1987.
Woo!
Nice.
Melody, thank you for joining us. So, Melody, I'm kind of figuring that there may have been a reason that you came to Alcoholics Anonymous. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I can tell you that everybody else knew I was an alcoholic but me until 1987. And it finally dawned on me when I was completely destitute and desperate. I had no identity, and I was looking at myself in the mirror and seeing a skull. No lights on, nobody at home. And it dawned on me that drinking was the problem. And I made every effort to get sober and to stop drinking and could not do so. Tried all the things, drink beer only, the number of drinks, you name it, and to try and stop, try to get control. And nothing worked. And I had no spirituality in me at the time, complete fire-breathing atheist. And there was a day in June of 1987 when I just cried out to whatever alien might be out there is, please stop the drinking, please. And that is what in fact worked. By accident, I blundered into a meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous. I thought I was going to the opening of a community health center. I got sober in Cincinnati. It was not the opening of a community health center.
It wasn't funny at the time either, was it?
Not at all, because I didn't realize I was really at an AA meeting, but they were all introducing themselves. I saw all kinds of people, and there was a priest there. I'm Father Bill, and I'm a happily recovering drunk. And I thought, oh my God. And I made moves to get out the door, and it came around to me. And I said, my name is Melody, and I'm an alcoholic. And
Wow. This was after you asked the alien for help, though.
That alien has a sense of humor.
there was a bevy of women that just crowded around me like vultures, and it almost vied to who was going to sponsor me. And I did get a sponsor right away, and immediately we began working the steps. And no nurturing, that wasn't the kind of sponsorship I had. And it was like, get in the car. We went to the Cincinnati workhouse.
I love that. Now, how quickly did you work the steps? Was it a fast process?
Easily within 6 months. We were through, and I was into service.
I'm curious, what is something that you get from sponsoring?
I get to stay sober. I get the wonderful perspective on people who come to believe in that higher power, and I get to see the process of what they went through in coming to know and have a conscious contact. That's the most beautiful thing I think there is to watch, is somebody's spiritual growth. It's wonderful. Wouldn't miss it for the world.
I keep on hearing you say that this is an experience not to be missed. The way your face is lit up so many times talking
That's
through
true.
this. Thank you, Melody.
Thank you.
Hi, Eric. So tell us a little bit about your introduction to Alcoholics Anonymous. What brought you here?
I got sober by accident. Like I didn't plan to get
Did you trip
sober.
and fall?
Almost. I got arrested. Uh, and after I got released the next morning because I'm not an important criminal, I'm just a very, very garden variety drunk. I went to my parents' house, and when they came home, my mom and dad did this horrible thing called like giving me a choice. And the choice was go to rehab or get out. And so I went to rehab, and I hated rehab so much because everybody there like they'd been there for like 2, 3 days, so they were all friends. And I didn't fit in. But my second day, like these were my friends for life. Like I mean, we were bonded together because we'd gone through this like disaster and we were here together. They took me to an AA meeting, and I walked in and I was like, oh, like I don't belong here. Like this is not for me. But this very friendly woman said, come on in. What's your name? And I said, oh, my name's Edward. It's not. It's Eric. So I became Edward for quite a few weeks. I was Edward in this meeting, and I sat in the back and I caused chaos all over the room. Like they would pass the seventh tradition basket, and I would borrow money liberally from it. So I started enjoying AA meetings because it was a great way to get money. Uh, I stole all their pamphlets because I didn't know that they were free. They were charging for the book, so I went to the library and stole it from the library. And I read the book by myself at home, like the first week I got sober. So yeah, that's how I ended up here.
Wow, my head's spinning a little bit.
Yeah, I was very afraid that I would run into people I knew. I was so self-centered that I didn't realize that they were there too.
Yeah.
To me, it was just the anxiety, like, what if somebody knows me from somewhere? And I was so scared. And I had done so much like I'd been so destructive that I really didn't want my past to catch up with me in any way.
What did the meeting do to you for your bad behavior?
They kept trying. Like the first time they noticed I was stealing money, they sent two men to sit next to me. Like, and they were like big burly men, and I scared them both off with my flirtation. So the next day they sent two lesbians to sit next to me, and that stopped me. But eventually, what they did is a woman in the back of the room said, "You sit with me," and she was the treasurer for the group, and so she had me counting the money, and by counting the money, it was hard to steal it because I was now like I cared about how much money we made. And so yeah,
Responsible
so
for
yeah, so yeah, I learned how to count money by sitting next to Diane at the meeting. Like when I had like 3, 4 weeks sober, just counting money and like figuring out how not to steal anymore.
it. They didn't kick you out.
No, I got lucky. Like I think, like because I was at that time I was a cute young little gay kid, right? So like I had a lot of privileges that some people don't have. Like while I was very emotionally disturbed, I didn't talk out loud too much, and so it was all in my head. And so I think people were very kind to me.
I'm guessing your shoulders eventually dropped and you were able to relax in the meeting and be a part of. Did that happen?
It happened when I got into service. There was a woman who got up and she said that they needed somebody to do a really important job. And I was desperate. Like, right, I've never wanted to fit in. Like, I've always wanted to stand out. And so when they said we need an important person to do an important job, like my hand just shot up and said, pick me. And so I became the cigarette disposal technician for the group. They called it Butt Boy, but no, it's cigarette disposal, right? Much fancier sounding.
They were inviting you in all along with the here, count the money.
Here, count the cigarette butts.
And here, count the cigarette butts. It's like, we want you to be included. Did you have trouble understanding the literature when you started?
I had a really hard time with the Big Book and the 12 and 12. I loved the Grapevine. I've been reading the Grapevine since I stole my very first issue when I had like 10 days over. I now subscribe, but uh, the Grapevine was in a contemporary voice that made sense to me.
Mm.
Uh, like the pamphlets I loved because the pamphlets were understandable to me. Uh,
Hmm.
but when I would read the big book, I could, like, I'm highly educated, like I have a PhD. So I could read every word and understand every word. But then I felt like parts of it were like insulting me or talking down to me. And I do not believe that Bill, when he was writing the big book, was like, I'm going to insult this kid in 2010. Like, I don't think that's what was happening. I think what was happening is that he was writing in the voice that he had.
Yeah.
The chapter We Agnostics was the one I had a really hard time with.
It seems to me that AA has responded to this language concern out of a desire to make things more accessible. What's your experience with the plain language big book?
Yeah, I'll start. And so I started reading, and after about an hour and a half, like I finished the book and I felt moved. I was sitting there going, I want to get sober, not realizing I was already sober. I was a delegate at the conference.
What was the impetus to create the plain language big book?
So I think the conversation about it has been going on for like 80 years. I don't think that it's a new conversation
Mm.
about making the language more accessible. Like when you go into archives, like you'll read letters from people in the 1930s and 40s going, hey, like, what does this mean? Or what does that mean? I think the conference and like AA in general has always tried to widen the door to everybody who wants to seek like recovery.
Melody, what was your first experience, your first take on the plain language big book?
When I was first exposed to Alcoholics Anonymous, I was kind of resistant and didn't know. And I thought the big book, when they talked about it, was of the Bible. And so I do a lot of corrections work now through our hospital and institutions committee. And it's consistent that we're seeing people reading between a fourth and sixth grade level. And so being able to see like the women in the jail when I go, having side by side, the doctor's opinion, and you have the original and the new version, and seeing it side by side, their lights just go on. You could just see it in their eyes that they're understanding what they're reading. So if there's a lockdown and I don't get to go back in for a month, then they have something in their hand that is the program of Alcoholics Anonymous.
So you're seeing it working.
Absolutely.
That's wonderful. We've got some people who have, I got an opportunity to talk to. We got one call in and one I recorded. Let's listen to them and respond. First, Phillip L.
I'm Phillip, alcoholic from Greensboro, North Carolina. I do have some firsthand experience with using the plain language big book in a meeting context. I'm in a literature discussion meeting that meets here, and we're using the plain language big book. Just finished the doctor's opinion. Several people in the meeting have said how much they appreciate the plain language big book. For them, it's easier to understand, and they feel like the message is more clearly expressed. It's really a pleasure to see it working so well in a meeting.
Eric, you have any response to that?
Like, I understood the original Big Book. Like to me, it's written like at a ninth grade level about.
Hmm.
Like I understood most of it. Like I understood the words, but sometimes the colorful language got distracting for me. Um, it's like Shakespeare, right? Like when I read Shakespeare in high school, I understood about two-thirds of what I was reading, and then I had cliff notes to kind of help me understand what I was
Hmm.
actually trying to read. To me, the plain language big book is those cliff notes because I'm going to get questions from people. Sometimes I've got enough sobriety now that they come to me with questions, which is very strange, and I just do not recommend. But when they do come to me and I don't have an answer, I can look at one more tool before I just give up and say, I don't know.
Okay, let's listen to Kenneth C.
My name is Kenneth, and I'm an alcoholic. My sobriety date is June 2nd, 2000. My home group is the A Vision for You group in Wilmington, North Carolina. Our meeting is the Beginner's Big Book Study. We meet in a room on the campus of the facility. There's a combination overnight shelter, social detox, and a full residential treatment program. We typically have 12 to 15 attendees from outside the facility, another 30 or 40 from inside the facility, some of whom may still be in detox. The format of the group is we have two presenters sitting up front who are sort of established members of AA, a man and a woman, and they go through the big book line by line and talk about and explain it. And then we just read the plain language translation of the portion of the book we had read before we open up for discussion. And we've gotten really positive feedback from that. A lot of the people who are in the facility who are brand new say they find that a lot easier to understand than the original text. And a lot of our quote-unquote established members who come there have come up to me after the meeting and said that they understood something about the big book for the first time, having heard another translation of the same text. Just a few weeks ago, at the time of this recording, we had a home group member who had to do a couple of weeks in county jail for something that happened back before she got sober, sharing about how while she was in county, on their tablets, they had the plain language big book free on the tablets. And so she was able to read that while she was in there. And then she got a cellie who appeared to be in there for being one of us. So she started sharing with this other woman the plain language big book while she was in there. You know, it's the stories like that that make me really happy about the plain language and make me a real fan of it. Obviously, there's been a great demand for tools to help people understand the message of the big book for a long time. Just look at all the study guides, commentaries, big book dictionaries, and the like that are printed by other publishers outside of AA. I'm just tickled that now we have one that is our own and that reflects the group conscience of our whole fellowship through the General Service Conference. And, of course, anyone who doesn't want to read the plain language big book doesn't have to, but I'm really happy to know there's so many more people that we can help by using it. Thanks.
Thanks, Kenneth. Melody.
I think it's great to have that we didn't supplant the original book, Alcoholics Anonymous. I think that would have been a huge mistake. That's where a lot of the pushback initially came, is like, we don't want to supplant the book that saved thousands of lives. I mean, it's a very dear book.
Our listener Sam asked for some real-world examples of people using the plain language big book and getting results. Alice was able to track down a couple of people who have done just that.
My name is Chelsea P. Sober date is 5/19/2023. I live in Tucson, Arizona, and I love the plain language big book. I think it makes it more accessible for me. I have ADHD, and reading the old big book, I got lost very quickly. It took me a long time to do my steps because I didn't even know that there was a plain language big book for, I think, about a year or a little over a year. And now that I knew it was there, I've flown through my steps. It is clear, concise. It's right to the point. I love it. It just made it so easy for me. I could understand what I was reading and I could relate to it. And it brought me closer to AA. It really did. I felt so much like on the outside because I couldn't understand the big book. And now that I have the plain language, I feel like I'm not on the outside anymore. Read it, and then you will see. It is just another tool that helps us, those that need it, to get it. Any tool that we can offer to help people to get this and understand, I am all for it. Bring it on. Because, I mean, I don't think I'd be where I am at step 10 without that book right now.
Hi, my name is Stephanie B., and I live in Lodi, California. My sobriety date is September the 6th, 2025. I have had good experience with the plain language big book in a way that I did not have with the big book because of my education. Reading the original big book, I couldn't put together. Going through the new language book, I really understood it. And then with the definitions on the side of the book to explain that part of the book really helped me. And it made me more wanting and being more interested in going forth in reading the big book and learning more. Yeah, so I highly recommend for people that this is a really great thing that they did with the big book so that people who are not greatly educated can still get the experience that people do who are educated out of the big book.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you, Chelsea, and thank you, Stephanie. And thanks, Sam, for writing in. Thanks, everybody, for being here and participating.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Melody, Eric, everyone.
Thank you.
Folks, we want to hear your examples of how the Plain Language Big Book is being used, and you see it being used in your recovery and in your area. So please call or write in to us. The number
212-870-3418. But if you would rather email us, you can do that at podcast@aagrapevine.org.
My name is Julie, and I am an alcoholic, and I am from White Rock, BC, Canada. And I subscribe to the Grapevine because I am the Grapevine representative, the committee chair in our district. And I want to be able to know exactly what is offered through the Grapevine. So I want to be as knowledgeable as possible about it so that when I go out to the meetings and take our big display with all of the Grapevine books and the magazines and all the brochures, I want to be able to share and carry the message to people who aren't familiar with all the things that Grapevine has to offer.
If you enjoy this podcast, please consider sharing it with another AA member or group.
You can subscribe 1 year in print for $36, 1 year in the app for $29.99. That's less than $3 a month.
$3 a month? Come on.
Come on.
I'm at the very wit's end. A traveler was checking in at a large hotel in Vancouver at the recent international convention. Observing hundreds of guests milling around the lobby, she asked the desk clerk,
"Who are these people?"
"They're members of Alcoholics Anonymous here for a convention."
Alcoholics Anonymous? I wonder if that thing really works.
"Madam, I hope so. I surely do hope so."
It's really not that funny.
Thank you for joining us. The AA Grapevine Half-Hour Variety Hour is posted every Monday and is produced by AA Grapevine, Inc. We don't speak for Alcoholics Anonymous as a whole, but we do share the experience, strength, and hope of members to help others recover from alcoholism. All things Grapevine are available at aagrapevine.org, including our app and how to get in touch with us. Find us on Instagram and YouTube. If you want to know more about Alcoholics Anonymous, visit aa.org or search Alcoholics Anonymous in your city.